Hi, it's Amelie. Today for just practicing, we're going to work on the Concerto Il Gardellino by Vivaldi. Especially the first movement. We'll look at the two other movements as well, but the first movement is really the one that's the most known. It's a good competition piece or audition piece because it sounds pretty good and it's not that difficult, but it's an impressive piece, I think. It's very well written for the flute. Okay. I'm gonna just play a little bit slurred just for my sound because I didn't really play yet. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get my sound the way I want it, and reminding myself of little things like to keep a good distance between my upper lip and where the air hits here, those types of things. Now I'm going to do a little bit of articulations. Okay, so I practiced the ka first, ka 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 ka, then ta 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 ta, and now I'm doing kata kata. So in this piece you'll need double tonguing. If you don't know what double tonguing is, you can go and check our video about double tonguing. And it's mainly doing taka 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 instead of ta 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 ta. And if you look at that rhythm, you know you have 16th notes, but you don't play on the first one. So you should go kata kata, kata kata, kata kata. You start on the ka so that you have ta on the strong beat. So if you're not used to it, just you can write it in line with the notes, ka ta ka ta. Obviously, if you have questions, comments during the live stream, put them in the live chat. Okay, so I'll go from the beginning. The orchestra goes da 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 da, and the flute ka ta ka ta. So da 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 ka ta ka ta, da 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 ka ta ka ta, da 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 ka ta ka ta. So it goes like that. I'll do it at 112. Oops, what have I done? I don't know how I'm gonna tongue that. Okay. Ta. Should I go ta ka 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 ta pum pum, or ta 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 pum pum? I'm not sure. So here I'll do slurred by 2. Ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. keep it tongued, that ta, kata kata, and I'll give it something a bit more, you know, spunky, joking a little bit. Okay. Of course, like if you're tonguing that, you might need to practice it a bit slowly first. Always, you know, using your metronome is a good idea. Let's say you do that 80 and then a little bit faster. Stuff, but here it's a solo, and so you can do a little bit of rubato, and you don't have to go and be that intense, because when you get to the 32nd notes, it's very, very fast. So from the solo, you can go. Should we start with the upper note? Maybe, huh? Yeah. So I'll start the trill with the top note. And I remember when I learned that big scale, like do it all slurred, you know, no need to add a tonguing there. I had to practice it a lot, so. And usually there's one note that doesn't come out, and you have to figure out which one and focus more on that note. So. Now all the notes came out, but that's usually what I do when there's a big line. I try to figure out, is there something that's not being heard as much? So, you know, practice it going up, going down, with rhythms, with different speeds on your metronome. And most important of all, just practice it very often so that it becomes easy with repetition. But not just like, let's say 20 times in a row, but also many times during the day or during your practice. So maybe you practice it 1 minute at one point, and then you go back to it later and later. I also like doing that more and more, putting let's say a little timer and saying I'm going to practice only this for a minute. And in a minute, you can do a lot of repetition and get it way better. When we go back to measure 15, when you have those 30-second notes, just slur everything, but make sure you put a little accent on the first of every group of 8. So let's say I go from 15. Okay, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really, sometimes it's about the conception. How it's clear in your head makes a huge difference. So if it's very clear in your head what you want to achieve, the fingers will follow easier than if it's not clear. Okay, so if you know what you want to hear, it's easier for your fingers, for your body to get in that state of doing it. You know, it's not all of it, but it's a big part of it. So yeah. And also make sure when you do those rhythms, ta 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 ta, that the 30-second note is going towards the dotted 8 note. Towards the next quarter note, or that is slurred, you know, because it's like ta 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 ta. Because sometimes I hear students getting stuck on that note. They go, and it's really. You can subdivide in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here it's 4 times. All slurred. And it's not that difficult. You just get one finger up, one finger down when you do A and D. One finger up, one finger down. You can practice it like that. Like that. Okay. So let's start again from 21 now. 1, 2. So here, I'm just gonna put that. Yeah, it's very flamboyant. So all detached, and then ta 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 at 24, slurred by 2 when you have 16th. Ta 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 ta, and then you have 2 lines here. You have one line going D. And another one going. So I try to give it different sounds here.
Somebody's wondering, Paola, I don't know, how do you keep the sound clear in those fast parts?
How do you keep the sound clear in those fast parts? I think you don't move here. The mouth stays stable. The embouchure stays stable, and you have to blow through it. Because sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes people tend to blow less when they move their fingers fast, because it's like they don't sustain the air enough, because they put so much energy in the fingers that they forget to sustain the air. And usually when we have finger problems, sometimes it's not even the fingers that are the issue, but the support of the air. Where was I? Okay. So yeah, of course, when you get those big scales, all slurred. But there's also just sheer practicing, you know. I've been playing the flute for a long time. So those things come with time as well. Like, it becomes easier and easier because the paths are built in the brain, you know. So now at 32, I'm gonna do 2 slurred, 2 detached. I'm gonna go kata kata takata 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 tam takata 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 tam. And I do the 8 notes staccato there. And don't forget to do double tonguing. Like, don't start ta 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 ta. You'll get tired. Ta ha ta ka ta ta ka ta. The 2 that are detached, it's taka. Okay. I'll go from the beat before 32. 1, 2, 3. edition we play that part. I think it's a doubling of the orchestra there. I'm not sure it's needed. I think when I was young, I did another version. Where's the piano part?
Over there beside you. On the other side of the right there. It's not all. It's not the whole part, but
I don't see it.
it's okay.
Okay, sorry, but I think in some editions, because it's doubling the orchestra, you don't play it there. I think it starts again at solo at 53. So I think once you go... And I think it ends... Yeah, okay, bar 46. Yeah. So when you get to 47, you have this cadence that goes... you could stop there because the orchestra does exactly the same thing at 47. And then you start again. So personally, I would stop on that B, third beat of 46, and then here's it's a 2D until 53. So I wouldn't even play that, but it depends on the edition, of course. But I don't know, because like it gets tiring. Also, you know, in those big places where you have let's say around 32 and you have if you don't have enough air to do it all, you could pick a spot and just cut the second note of the group of 4. So let's say 35. First, I play the first note, then I skip the second and I play it on the third so I can breathe during that second note. So let's say I take just a bit before 35 on 34. It's almost seamless, you know, especially when there's a piano under and everything. If you do it right, if you really need to, you know. If not, you breathe during the rests and between those 8 notes. So that can be something that works when you have a long stretch, if it's difficult for you. So let's say 39. You have this I think it's a really different really a different style, like a different energy there between those two, like two characters. One is like the other. And personally, I do taka ta 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 taka ta ta. So taka and then slurred by 2. Taka ta 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 taka ta 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 ta. And then you're going very loud because you have this big cadence at 46. So let's say from 44. Oops. So that's it for that. I think it's better to stop and let the orchestra just continue there. Okay, so from the solo at 53. So you start soft. Oh, also, you know, around 32 you have repeats played softer. It's a very tiny difference, but I think you can hear it when I do it. I mainly change the shape of my mouth. I go or, more ah, and then more or u, and then it changes it, you know. So you can do that. 53. Okay, so here you have a, it's not written here in my part, but I would do a crescendo. So you start on that B at 53 and go ta 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 ta, and then you get louder until bar 5, 6, 7, 8, bar 58. You're loud, and then you start piano again on this next phrase on the F sharp at 59. And then it ends on that trill. So okay, so I would also all this 16th notes at 57, slurred by 2. Same thing at 61, 2, 3, slurred by 2. And like usual, you learn by little section. You use your metronome. You do slower and then faster. Especially the big parts that are a bit more difficult, like from 32 to 38, you might have to work on it a little bit more. The big scales, you can really figure out the spots that will take more time and spend more time on them. You know, you don't have to practice everything equally because it's not asking for that. You know, you really practice what's more difficult the most. Sometimes people don't like doing that because they like practicing what's easy because it's a bit more flattering and it's a bit less tiring as well. But if you want to be efficient, you know, try to figure out the spots that really need the most work. 65. No question? No comment? No? 65. From that so here at 65 I slur F, B, and D together. So the first one is detached, the 3 other ones are slurred in the 8 notes, and then I go ta ka ta ha ta ha ta ta ha ta ta ka ta ha ta ha ta, and I do always the same ta ka ta ha ta ha ta ta ka ta ha ta ha ta ta ka ta ha ta ka ta. Yeah, I think I'll go ta ha ta ka ta ha ta ka 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 ta. 74 slurred by 2. You don't have to pick the same slurs as I do. It's my choice. You can make a different choice, but I would advise you to write it down when you chose. Just, you know, if you make a decision, it's better to make a decision and change it than not make a decision. So write something. If you don't agree on another day and you say, doesn't really sound good like that, or I'm not convincing when I play it this way, it's not easy for me, then you can switch it around. But at least you have something to work towards and you're creating some habits by deciding and practicing it this way. I'll do it again from 65. So you see here, I decided to do two slurred. Instead of ta 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 ta. Okay, again. Well, what am I doing? Okay, so that's interesting. I think it's really lyrical, like bum ba da da dum, and then ta 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 ta. It's got a little like lyrical, but then also a little bit spunky in it. You know, it's or maybe it can be just gracious and charming. I don't know. What am I doing a G sharp there? It's ridiculous. Okay, C natural. So yeah, I try to play it with character. Beginning is a bit more charming and gracious, I think, and then it becomes a bit more intense. And when you are at 74, so you can make it a bit louder there. I would start not too loud at the 3 notes before 74, and then make a crescendo towards the end of that phrase. And then at 78, when you start, not too loud, because also you need air to play all that. I'm gonna play it once a bit slowly, and I'm gonna slur it all. Detached. When I practice, I try to see the chords instead of just seeing each note separately. So here I'm like D major chord, and then A major, and then B major, and E minor. Maybe if you're not used to doing it, it's a bit longer, but you can at least see the pattern of notes. Like it's usually just 3 notes that are repeated in a different order. Like, so if you see it as just 3 notes being repeated for 2 beats, it's a bit easier than reading each note. At least you see the pattern and you see what's coming back, so it's a bit less tiring for your brain. Grouping, you know, just grouping things, grouping elements, so it becomes less elements. Okay, I'm gonna try it with the metronome. I think here at 96 it's also the same thing. You don't need to play that. It's not a, it's a tutti there. And you let the orchestra finish at 96. You stop on that D. You make it a half note maybe, and then you stop. Bum bum ba-da-dum ba-da-dum bum bum ba-da-dum ba-da-dum bum bum ba-da-dum ba-da-dum bum bum. Yeah, they end without you. That's how I would do it. You can play it if you want, but I think it's like and you stop there and the orchestra ends. Here you really should do detached. It's gonna be easier. Yeah, same thing, you know, around 81 it's very long, so maybe you can, if you need to breathe and it's too difficult, just cut the second note of a bar and breathe there. So let's see, I can try it at 82. I'll go from 2 beats before 81. I didn't do it well because I didn't need air. Wait, I'll try it again. Wait, again. So you can hear that it works. It's just you have to get used to it. You could also breathe and do and still play all the notes, but then there's a risk of not being in rhythm anymore. So you can pick, you know, between breathing, still playing the note and breathing between, or just not playing that note and taking a full breath there. I've done that in competition and it worked very well. Didn't have any problems with the judges or anything. I don't think they even heard, you know, and it all depends also on your age and your level. Like, people would understand that you played for a year or two, you're not going to be able to necessarily do all that in one breath. Maybe if you played for a longer time, you're older, like, it's all, you know, whatever, you go with what you have, and the important thing is the result, really. So does it sound better if you skip a note and breathe, or if you end with no air at the end? You know, it's all a balancing act to make choices that make it sound good. So here for that whole section from 77, I do 2 slurred, 2 detached, and I would really encourage you to practice with your metronome. Start slowly and increase very, very gradually, and then every day go back to slow once in a while. Yeah. Maybe I will do the end of that at 84. So here, complete change of style. Bum bum dum ba da 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 dum bum pia dum. Okay, so maybe, you know, make those little changes to make it interesting. And then, and here you start piano and crescendo. And then you're already loud, you continue. taka taka ta, you could also go. You don't have to put the pinky back for each D that is in the third octave. You can just go. It's way easier like that. So I think that's pretty much it for that. You know, always same ways to practice with metronome, gradually increase, really figure out which spots need more work, and yeah. Any question, comment?
No,
so that's really the well-known movement. The other two, I don't know them, but I'm gonna read through them. Do we have the piano parts for those two? No? I'll play it once. They say here 40, so I'm gonna try it at 40. It's an F sharp. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. And I don't see spots where the orchestra is exactly the same. Yeah, it's slow. You just need to understand the rhythm. I think I would, even now, like if I was learning it for performance or something, I would probably practice it, subdividing it per 8 notes. Ta 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 ta, just to make sure my rhythm is clear. And then a lot of slurred, you know, but usually I don't slur past like the beat. So a beat is 3/8 notes or a dotted quarter. So ta 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 ta. That type of slurring would work well there. So that's how I would work on that, and probably use a tuner as well. So I think that's pretty straightforward for that one. Is that okay? Any question? Good? Okay, let's see the next one. I don't know it. Do we have a piano part for that? Yeah. It's already there?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay. So you have 3 bars of bum da 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 dum bum 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 bum. Okay. You're in thirds with the orchestra and then solo. Okay, I'll start from there and I'll see what happens. Let's see they say 128. I'll do 126. Anyways, like the metronome markings are from the editor, because there were no metronomes in those years. The metronome didn't exist during Vivaldi's time. So if you want to pick another speed, like allegro means fast, but it's not specific because they couldn't be. There was no metronome. One, two, three. metronome for now. I'm just sight reading. Oh, so that 3 thing is a bit weird in the beginning because it feels like it's a émiole, you know, when you get by 2, because it feels One, two, three. No. How would I stung that? Yeah, maybe. Ta-ha, 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 ta-ka-ta. And then I repeat that same thing every bar. Oh no. Made a mistake. I need to erase. Okay. Good. I'll go from bar 32. Maybe before. I'll do ta kata 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 kata. It's a bit easier if I do a ka on that 16th note. Sounds like an orchestra thing, that move. Bar 39. Yeah, I think that you end on 40 on that A, and then the next 2 bars are just a tutti that you don't have to play. Yeah, it's the same with the orchestra. And then you start again on the solo. It's usually obvious, those things, because they don't sound like the normal melody. So even if I don't know that movement, it's kind of obvious. So I'll do 38. Yeah, same thing at 54. It's a tutti. So you end on the C sharp you play, and the little thing after, it's a tutti. You can play it, you don't have to. The orchestra is already doing it. I think here I don't know, there has to be something to be done to make it interesting. That's what's going on from 44. So maybe I would start softly. Maybe I have to finish a bit more loud at the end, so it feels more decisive, because I don't know. I have a difficulty with that one. I think it's okay. And then 59. I like that. Maybe I could do a little bit more difference between the loud and the soft. No. I'll start it soft here at 68 and I'll go gradually louder until 78. Yeah, I think it gives it a mysterious vibe to do it like that. A little build up, you know. Maybe that's the difference here with 44, where maybe it's a build down. Maybe I should start loud and end soft. Let's see. 44. Yeah, I like it better like that. Obviously, like, I did a little mistake, but you know, when you first look at a piece, it doesn't have to be perfect right away. You can also use it as a way to figure out what are the little spots that you'll have to work on more in the future. You can even make little notes, which bars, and even use those things as technical exercises, you know, and be very efficient with your time. Maybe you don't have as much time to do technical exercises in a book separated, but you can use some parts in your pieces to build your technique. Okay, so I like that build up here at 68. I'm going to continue at 79. It's funny, it's really like da, ga, da, ga, da, ga, da. It comes back with a little trill. He's bringing back some motives from the first movement. That's cool. it with the metronome slowly, that little part. Maybe at 80. Okay, a bit faster. No, I want to do it slurred by 2 here. Da, 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 dum. I'll write it down because I always forget. Okay, maybe a bit faster. That's around 81. What's the piano doing there? Oh, here. 81. Yeah, completely different. That's cool. Yeah, I think I would have to practice it again a little bit. I kind of don't feel that 3 thing. Da, ga, 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 dum, ba, da, dum, ba, da, dum, ba, da, 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 dum, ba, da, dum, ba, da, dum, ba, da, 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 dum, ba, da, dum, ba, da, dum, ba, da, dum, bum, ba, dum, bum. Yeah, it's all a question of habit, you know. And sometimes just singing it, feeling the rhythm. When you do this, when you mark the beat like a conductor, you really get that feel of the strong beat, because the strong beat is always here. So 1, 2, 3, and by doing that, you know, it helps me when I don't really feel it, when I don't really feel the phrasing. Phrasing and rhythms are so connected, so it can help, you know. I'm gonna continue at 94. Okay, I'll just look at something. Yeah, here. So, yeah, it's all good. I'll go again. I'll do it a bit slower at 94. Okay. I don't think I would do the trill on that D at 105. I don't know. Oh no, I get it. I get it. Okay, I'll do it one more time. Once not too fast, and once I'll try to do it at the real speed. Yeah, I would have to practice that a little bit more. But also, I kind of don't feel it at the end. I don't know. You know? That's how like you grow with a piece, you play it, you're like, nah, I'm not sure. And then you figure out something. You figure out maybe I need to play it this soft and this loud and make it interesting. I'll try something. No. Maybe something like that. You know, I kind of built it up, and it's very charming, this thing. Maybe we don't need to try to overpower anything, just so a little bit build up here. Maybe here soft. Yeah, the first time. You know, because I already did a build up between 104 and piano here, 104, 5, and 107, and then at 107 I start soft again, and then here louder, and then crescendo until the end. Yeah, that way it's more interesting. You know, sometimes we often even we think we have a technical problem, and sometimes it's a conception thing. You know, once you hear it well in your head and you're like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to sound, then the fingers follow. Sometimes teachers say, oh, start by playing it perfectly technically perfect, you know, and once it's technically perfect, then you can start making music, then you can be musical. I don't know about that. I think sometimes those things are together and you can work on them at the same time, have an idea of what you want to say with that music, and then it might make it easier because it becomes more natural, it becomes more inspired, and then the body places itself in order to get you what you're conceptualizing in your head, you know. I don't know if it's clear, but that's my opinion. I don't think music and technique should be separated that much. Maybe that's my take home message here. So should I talk about our things and then we answer some questions? So if you are looking for a flute, you can check the Flute Center of New York and use our code TFC. That code helps you, it gives you some perks like longer warranty, and you can try more flutes. It's all in the description below, but it also helps us out. So thanks to everyone who used our code TFC. You can go on their website, flutes4sale.com, flutes4sale.com, or you can call them. They're very knowledgeable, they're very helpful, and they have the largest selection of flutes in the world. The code is good worldwide, so just use it, TFC, and thanks to everyone who used it already. If you're looking for some merch, you can check our store in the description below. If you want some lessons with me, you can email us at info@theflutechannel.com, and we can do that remotely through the internet. And what else?
Patreon.
We have a Patreon where you can tip us. And we have a few patrons that are very helpful. Thank you so much. And yeah, go and check it out. And if you find our content helpful, well, maybe go in there and help us out. Is there anything else?
Oh, that's great.
Good?
Cool. Patrick wants to know, I have really small hands. Does a thumb port or finger port make it easier to reach some of the keys?
Okay, Patrick is asking, he has very small hands and he wants to know if a thumb port could help reaching keys. I'm not sure. It helps with the flute not going backwards. Maybe. The thing is, if your fingers are holding the flute, like you should be able to be like this, so that to make sure your fingers are not holding your flute, so that they're comfortable. Maybe your fingers are holding your flute, and that's making it very difficult technically. Because even if I don't have the thumb port, my fingers are not holding the flute, and that's the whole thing. Maybe it's a question of posture and balance of your flute. You can check our video about posture. It's an old one, but it's a good one. It's pretty in depth. Maybe check that. And you can try thumb ports, but I'm not sure it's going to make a huge difference. But some flutists have very small hands. I'm sure there's a way to place everything. Maybe your foot joint should be a little bit more inwards, so that your pinky can reach. Like there's little adjustments maybe that you can make too. A good teacher should be able to help you with that.
Cool. That weird person wants to know, what would you recommend for getting used to open hole flutes?
What would I recommend for getting used to open holes flutes? Okay, I would recommend little plugs, and unplug one at a time. And I would unplug from the thumb to the pinky. So I would start by unplugging, let's say for the right hand, unplugging the index, then the middle finger, then the ring finger. And for the left hand, same thing, middle finger and then ring finger. Because it gets more difficult when you get to the ring finger, So that's how I would unplug. Once you're comfortable with one, you can remove another one. And there's no shame in keeping a plug. Some professionals still keep the plug in this one because it's more safe, It's all about the result. If it sounds good, it's good. And same here. And it won't change your sound to keep a plug. So, But yeah, it can be a good thing too for the technique to have the fingers in the right place and stuff like that. But remove them one at a time and your fingers will get back in place. And as I said before, if your fingers are holding your flute, they're not able to be in the right spot. So just make sure your posture is good and your fulcrum points to hold the flute are good. You know where they are, like the chin, the index of the left hand, the thumb of the right hand, and your flute is not held by the fingers. The fingers are free to move.
Okay, cool.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Somebody was just wondering if you have a C-sharp trill key, but you don't.
No, I don't have a C-sharp trill key.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's it. Then maybe you can tell everybody they can join in a few minutes for the podcast too.
Yeah, so we'll do a live podcast in a few minutes if you want to join in, and you will be able to also ask live questions during that podcast. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If it was, just like it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and see you next time. Thanks.